وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Respected brothers and sisters, all praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has given us another day in our life. We ask the Almighty Allah Azza wa Jal to make this day as a source of blessing for us and protect us from all types of evil. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given such a great honor to the humankind, and then after that to the believers. And these are the favors of Allah Azza wa Jal, so that a person can execute and fulfill the commands of Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addressing His Prophet Dawood alayhi salatu wassalam in the Quran. Ya Dawood, inna ja'alnaka khalifatan fil ard fahkum bayna an-nasi bil haqq wa la tattabi' al-hawa fayudillaka an sabilillah. That, O Dawood, we have made you our ambassador on earth. So every person who has been given the faith in one way or the other, they serve the purpose of being the ambassadors of Allah Azza wa Jal on earth. If you have iman in your heart, that means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed you and Allah Azza wa Jal has made you responsible. That by your ability, by your actions, by your way of doing things, you are going to show people what iman and what belief you have in your heart. Jabir bin Abdullah radiyallahu anhu mentions that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that there are three categories of individual who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put under His rahmah and mercy and shade on the day of judgment. And then Allah Azza wa Jal will eventually give them access to Jannah. So Jabir radiallahu anhu said, Ya Rasulullah, who are these people? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, the one who shows courtesy towards the weak people, who have courtesy towards the weak ones, and the one who is compassionate towards his parents, and the one who is kind towards his subordinates. Now, if you look at all of these three categories, you will see that they are required for a person to do such a service that makes this individual account on the day of judgment from these categories. Courtesy towards those who are weak. This is something that we show courtesy towards those who are wealthy. Why? So we can take benefit from them. A person's his recognition is based upon how much he earns. His recognition is based upon how much belongings of the earth he possesses. But in reality, in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's not the case. And in fact, those who are weak and they are feeble, they are more closer to Allah Azza wa Jal, because they don't have many things that preoccupies them and takes them away from the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are very simple. And to love those, to be courtesy towards them, to show courtesy towards them and be nice to them, this is what Allah Azza wa Jal, this is the requirement of a believer in iman in the heart that he has. And then compassionate towards parents. This is one of the greatest things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a ni'mat of Allah Azza wa Jal. Those who have their parents still alive, this is the ni'mat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They in fact are, Rasul alayhi salatu wassalam told one of the Sahabi that these are either your Jannah or your hellfire. By serving them, you will get Jannah. And by ignoring them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hold you accountable. Ulama mention that there are punishments of actions that will be given on the day of judgment. But there are certain actions, the punishment that Allah Azza wa Jal brings it early into the universe. That this person goes through those difficulties. And from those categories, one of them is that person who is not kind and who is not serving towards his parents. that Allah Azza wa Jalla brings a situation for him in this dunya before he departs from this world. And that's and then akhirah is أَدْخِلُوا آلَ فِرْعَوْنَ أَشَدَّ الْعَذَابِ. Allah talks about Fir'aun, that he was punished in the dunya, and then in the year after he will be given severe punishment, even greater punishment. So those people who go through this action in this dunya, they are given punishment in this dunya, and then they will go into a severe punishment in the hereafter. We ask Allah to save us all. And the third person is the one who is kind towards his subordinates, the people who you hire, the people who work for you, who are under you, to show kindness towards them, to show mercy towards them, to be nice to them. A lot of times this type of dealings, a person be held accountable on the Day of Judgment, when he is not mindful of the people that he hires who work for them and does not be just to them. So these are the qualities that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordered a believer to adopt in his life, so that he can serve the purpose for which Allah has created him for. And if these purposes are not being fulfilled, then every person with iman, every person who has made responsible, will be asked on the Day of Judgment, that you were in this situation, how much you fulfilled the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the rights of people. So we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to grant us the understanding, ability to practice, to be amongst those who are serving the cause for which Allah Azza wa Jal has created us for. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Jazakum Allahu khairan. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa